Good morning, good morning. Several of you. First of all, how are you? It's very, very cold. I think it's 12 degrees outside right now. Got my traditional Christmas music because that's the only thing that matters, is that Bing Crosby, just very calming traditional music. I don't know about you, but I love that. I could listen to that actually probably all year round, but it's going in the background. I have my coffee, or I should say my creamer with my coffee. Hope you're all safe, healthy in this crazy, crazy 2020. I purchased my Christmas present to myself, and several of you have asked, just a second. Alexa, turn volume to 4, please. Alexa, turn volume to 3. Alright, it was a little loud. For me to share my new Soft Pastels. So, disclaimer, I've never used Soft Pastels. I have pan pastels, which I suppose you could call them Soft Pastels, but obviously not in a stick type form. So I know nothing about them. I'm not going to claim to be an expert because I'm not, but for 2021, I really want to start pushing myself and use different types of mediums. And there's something about holding the soft pastel in your hand and smudging it around with your fingers that I'm finding intriguing. So I wanted to start doing that more, even with some more charcoal and graphite. I wanted to start playing with that a little bit more in my art journals. But anyway, so I had done a little bit of research to find out what pastels were really high quality, because I figured if I'm going to try it, I want to try something with good quality, because I might not like some of the cheaper ones and I might be turned off from it. So I went high quality. These aren't cheap. I think these were almost $50 for a set of 12. But they go up from there. These were kind of the cheaper ones. I didn't opt for the individual ones. So I got 2 sets of Diane Townsend Soft Pastels, and they're all handmade, which I kind of love that hand feel anyway. And then I'll share these 2. So I got my pastels from a store called Fine Art Store. It's located, I think, in Rochester, New York, which, you know, somewhat close to me, but it's the only place I could really find them online, the Diane pastel ones. So I ordered it from there, and then they had sampler sets where you can try out other brands, just so you can see the difference in hardness and chalkiness. So I think I'll try those out here too. So I opted for the Tastiest Landscape one because I liked the color palette. And because I wanted something to store my pastels in, they had these really cool little boxes. They have ones with just 1 drawer, but the 3 drawer was literally the same price for like a 2 drawer. So I opted for it, but it's kind of a nice little display piece. Each drawer is this way, so I can put my soft pastels on the inside, and I can just set that on my desk, and I kind of liked that. So let's move this aside. Alright, so the first set that I got is called Damp Earth, and I love that color palette. Isn't that just beautiful? There's something, because it's so neutral and nature-based. I think a lot of this is for portraits and stuff like that, but obviously I don't do portraits. But look at these colors. They're just divine. Like, I would like my house to be in that color palette. So that's the first one. And then the second set, which is, this is how my brain works. So this is it's hot colors. And, you know, people always ask, I have such opposite things. These are like bright fluorescent colors. But there's something when you put fluorescents underneath other like neutral colors that really makes the neutral color pop. So, you know what? We're going to go for that. But aren't those beautiful? So I have those ones. So let's try these first. And all I'm going to do is smudge a little bit on my sheet, and then I'm going to probably rip off pieces of this and throw them in my art journal. You know, just because. And I have gloves on too because my fingers are so dry right now because of winter and my cuticles are being cracked. So I've got gloves on because these are, you know, pretty drying in your fingers anyway. But let's try it out. So let's see, do they have the colors on here? Just a number. So I'll call off, let's see, each one has a number. Yeah, so I'll call off the number. I don't know what the actual color is for that. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So this is 106. And for right now, I'm going to leave the little paper on it so I can keep track of it. But so let's just put some of this down and smudge it around. So this is 106. And my paper, this is just some heavy watercolor type paper. I don't know the weight on it, to be honest with you. I had bought a pack of 100 sheets because I use it for so many things. It's actually pretty good quality because I dye with it, make books out of it. It's not gessoed or anything because I really wanted it to grab into the paper. So you can see, you know, that smudges pretty well the colors, you know, bright for what it is. So this next one is 104D. That's a really pretty color. So I'm going to wipe off my gloves kind of off on a paper towel so I'm not cross-contaminating. This is 105. So right now, I'm telling you right now, this color, those three together are beautiful. And they blend really nice. You can see, you know, obviously as it gets pulled out, it gets lighter, but the color is pretty intense in the center. This is 120D. So this is a darker shade to this one here with a little bit more of a blue tone to it, and that's beautiful. This is 119. So I'm going to start going down this way just so I can keep sharing in camera. And I can tell right now, just being able to like do that on a piece of paper on my scribble books, ugh, I'm loving it. And I've been reading, this is 70D, you know, a lot of pastel artists don't always fix their work. I probably will because I just don't want it transferring everywhere. So, you know, you can Google various ways, but I use Spectrafix, which is a non-toxic fixative, but a lot of pastels will change color when you do put a fixative, and other people may take cold wax, which I have a huge tub of, and put it on a piece of deli paper, put it down, and just kind of pat it down, and the cold wax kind of keeps the pastel down. But I don't know, since I've never played with them before in my journals, I'm curious because I'm working on a junk journal right now where I have oil pastels, which again can move and migrate and transfer. And it was a little hard for me at first because I do fixate actually every one of my art journal pages so they don't stick together, and I haven't been doing that. And you know what? I'm kind of been okay with it. So I don't know. We'll see. These transfer a little bit more. So I may fix them down, but I don't want to change the color either because it's beautiful. So this is 58. It's a pretty dark color, but it's almost black. It's like a black brown. Very pretty. This is 85. Oh, these colors are just amazing. Like, how would you love a journal just in this color palette? And this is 50. So this one I can tell is going to probably be one of my faves because it's got a red, black feel to it. And I'll bring these up to the camera closer when I'm done with this. This is number 4. So it's a brighter, orangier type of red. This is 7D. Kind of like an olive green, which is really pretty. And then the last one of this set is number 3. So it's like a olive green, but with a brown undertone to it. So so you can see, like, here, these are definitely, you know, getting on my paper, but if you're working in a pretty junky journal, you know, you deal with those smudges, but we'll have to see how I feel. But you can see the colors here. You can see how bright and intense the center is, where a lot of the pigment is, and, you know, as you move this out, it moves fairly well. But this color right here is gorgeous. So that's the first 12. And again, these were called Damp Earth. All right, so the next 12, these fluorescents. Let's move this up a little bit. Really, really curious on this. So this is 806. Whoa, 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 whoa. How cool. So I'm noticing these really filled in, those really filled in that area. That one looks a little more translucent. I don't know if it's just because it's the color, but we'll see how the others go. This is 22. See, that one fills in a little bit more. 3070. Yeah, see, that one does the same. So you can tell here it's you can see the texture of the paper underneath. So see how this one's completely opaque and those two are not. It's a little bit different. All right, so this is 37L. That's kind of the same. Oh, this color is beautiful. 95D. So these ones are all tending to be a little more transparent in nature. 36. I don't even know if that's possible for soft pastels because I know nothing about them. Then the top ones. This is 23D. But again, you know, for my purposes, I'm not drawing with these. And I tend to like the layers. So I don't mind the translucent nature. Maybe I'm just not putting enough on there. That's a pretty bright pink. This is 15. So again, these are Diane Townsend, the soft forms. I didn't opt for, and there's a sample of, I can't remember what the name of it is, where it has more, I think, pumice in it. They were made, so that one's a little more opaque. So I'm curious on, because I didn't know which ones to purchase, the soft form or the other, so I went for the soft form just to see. So we'll try that out here. And there is a lot of, probably even more here. These are more crumblier. 93D. It seems like they're messier. That's a really pretty color. And the last one is 7811. I'm not sure what that is, but that is a beautiful color. So here are those bright fluorescent ones. They're beautiful. So I can totally see my fingers are really smudgy here. Alright, so let's move those aside. Alright, so I am going to try these little sample boxes. So they came in 3 boxes, and there's various brands in here. So let's try these out. So this is a Artist Soft Pastel from Spectrum. Number T522. It's pretty crumbly, but it's a little bit harder. So you have, especially because of the tip, you would have the ability to, you know, do lines, which the other ones it's a little harder. But that is a really pretty color. Alright, so this next one is Mount Vision Pastel Company 641. So this is definitely softer. You can tell when I'm putting it down on the paper than that and these. This is a little bit softer than the Diane Townsend. Alright, so here is a stick. Let's see here. Geralt, number 250. So this is definitely harder, but again, you can, you know, do definite lines with that because it's more of a like a chalk-like stick. All right, so this is Great American Artworks number 350.1. So it is very, very crumbly, as you can see when I put it down here. But it's hard. It's harder, like in the same of these two here. It's hard like that, but it's very crumbly. So I didn't notice a lot of crumble on the first 12. A little bit of crumble on the second 12, but it is interesting. So this is another Diane Townsend. So that one broke off a lot. I am noticing a little bit more crumbling with that one than I did on these other ones. So that is the first little box. Let's check out the next one. So, okay, so this is the other Diane Townsend one I was talking about, Tirage. This is 112. So it looks a little bit different, and I think it has more pumice. Don't hold me to that. Oh, that is really pretty. So I think it was built or made so it can grab the tooth of the paper more because of the, I think it was pumice in here. And I could see that, like I could feel it when I was putting the pastel on. It was really grabbing the texture of the paper. And, you know, if I were to purchase these again, I actually might purchase this type of her pastels. I like that one. I'm not quite sure what this one is. AOC. So definitely very hard. You really have to work to get the color down. Very crumbly. Not a fan of that one. Alright, let's look at the next one. Jack Richardson. So this was another one I was considering. R27. That was highly reviewed. It is similar to the Diane Townsend, I can tell. I like that color a lot. Alright, let's look at the final box. And they have others in their samples, several different sets, different colors that you could order. And it is a nice way, like me, if you're new to pastels, you can try out the different ones. And I may go back and get some of the other samples just so I have other colors. This is Unison Color Dark number 3. So pretty crumbly. Nice color though, it has nice coverage. Let's see here. Schmincke. Sepia brown. So let's see here. Oh, that is really soft and really buttery. Ooh, I like that one a lot. This one, to me, feels like an oil pastel and a soft pastel together, and I can't, it's hard to explain, but when you put it on, and you can even see here on the tip, it's like it smooshed the tip instead of breaking off. It's very, very, very buttery. That one is a nice, nice brand. So here's Sennelier. What color is this? 169. So this was another brand that a lot of people were raving about, because that's, you know, a very high quality brand. I don't know, it's kind of average to me. I'm not a fan of that one so much either. This one, yeah, love that one. I have to look if they have small sets of that brand, because that one is really, really nice to me. But again, it depends on what you want to do. So another Diane Townsend, number 27, so this would be like my others. And you know, the Diane Townsend, now that I keep going back and forth, it has a nice, it has a soft feel. Not as soft as this one, but not as hard as some of these others. I have no idea what this one is. I think on my receipt it does tell me. But I would expect, oh, it's not. I was going to expect this to be very hard, but oh my goodness, that coverage is beautiful. I'm going to have to look and see what that one is. Let me put these aside. And I liked the squareness of it because you can get sharp edges if you want. So here is, oh, that one's really pretty. I like that one. So these two, besides the Diane Townsend, I like those two a lot. But I think that's a nice range. Let me zoom back out. Look at these colors. I can do a lot with those. I'm going to actually just rip up some of these strips and add them to my journal, I think. And it is very messy, so that's going to be, I mean, not that I'm not messy when I art journal, but it's a different level of messy. And I think because of how I am going to probably try to fix these down. Let me see here. So I have a little bit of my Spectrafix in a little bottle here on my desk. So you would just normally spritz very light layers, let it dry in between. So some of them got darker. So up here especially, they got darker. I let that dry, I come back, spritz another layer, let it dry, and then sometimes go back with a third layer. But when I've used it for my oil pastels and when I have used pan pastels, I use this too. And it does fix it, and you really can't move it around. Now, I will have to say, if you use Spectrafix, it changes the other part of the paper as well. So if you want to put more wet medium, watercolors, and whatever down, the paper doesn't really absorb it so well. So if you use it, I would definitely use it as the last step. Or go over your whole page after this is dry with clear gesso, because hopefully it won't smudge what you've got down, and then you'd be able to add some more layers onto your page. But to me, that's just another step that I really wouldn't want to do. So I would probably embrace the smudginess and the messiness on my pages, and then when I was completely done, put the fixative down just so I'm not smudging it too much. But you can see how it does change the color. So this one in particular, I'm not a fan of how it changed that color. So let's spray this again. So some fixatives will make colors less bright. Some fixatives will make them darker. So obviously it's making these darker and actually more muted, so I can tell a lot. It definitely changed the colorness of this. They're not as bright, they're more muted. Same with these, it really did change the color intensity of those. These, it made them darker. So it is changing the color of the pastel, which not a fan of, but I might try the cold wax on a piece of deli paper, place it down to add a layer of protectant. But again, it's wax, so if you're going to write on it or whatever, you can't because it's wax. Then you have to wait for the wax to dry. And that's why I tend to use spray fixative. So I do have a spray fixative that I tend to use on my art journal pages, which I could also do on here. So once I'm done with the page, go and spray fix it down, which I might do because that doesn't usually change the color too much on those. But yeah, I don't like this now. I don't like the color of that. But that's it. Bye-bye.